Good evening, Fyzabad. Good evening, Fyzabad. I pay special acknowledgement to Dr. Bodo, our resident Member of Parliament, who has hosted this pavement report, all other members of Parliament, senators in the audience, and most importantly, the troops, the ground soldiers, the loyal people of the United National Congress. Today we speak to you on a platform of truth, on a platform of sense, and a platform of reasonableness. Because this government that we have is a senseless, clueless, incompetent, failed administration led by Keith Christopher Rowley. Today, we have to suffer under Rowley and his 10-year reign, and now he wants to give it to Stuart Young. But Arnold said that Rowley is a quitter, and that is true, because he knows he curtailed book in the next general election. He knows he curtailed book. This is a country without any leadership. Today, Trinidad and Tobago is embarrassed in the Caribbean. We were once the shining light, the beacon for the Caribbean, where we were the energy capital of this part of the hemisphere. Today we are buying fuel products from Jamaica. We have a refinery. Jamaica has a refinery, but they have no oil. We have a refinery, we have oil, and today we have to buy oil products and fuel products from Jamaica. How more embarrassing could Rowley place us in this country? We have recorded the highest murder toll in the history of our country in the last year. We have broken the record. This country has become a failed country under Keith Christopher Rowley, and it will only take a United National Congress government under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessar to restore Trinidad and Tobago. Because when the United National Congress wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Today, I know when I came in here, everybody has a question in mind, what you're going to say about Erla. What you're going to say about Erla. Tonight, I want to call on Stuart Young to break his silence on Erla Christopher. It has been about 4 or 5 days now that this scandal has taken over the news cycle in Trinidad and Tobago, and we cannot hear from them. All we heard is that Rowley said he disappointed with 2 carrots in his hand. He gone somewhere down Moruga holding up 2 carrots and say, well, I disappointed with Erla. Rowley is trying to distance himself from Erla, but he cannot do that. Erla was Rowley pick. Don't forget that, you know. Erla was Rowley pick. And when we were in the parliament debating the nomination of Erla Christopher, we told them that she is nearing her retirement age and whether or not this will be the most appropriate candidate at this point in time. You know what they do? They ignore us, you know. And they had to now go to the cabinet to extend the life of her service for another year. And when that year was up, you know what they do again? They extended it for another year. And look at what happened today. Look, I have the 2 media release here. May 9, 2023, media statement, extension to the years of service of the Commissioner of Police. This was in 2023 to 2024. Media release dated the 13th of May 2024. Service of Commissioner of Police extended by order of the President. The Cabinet has today, May 13th, 2024, advised Her Excellency under Section 75A of the Police Service Act to extend the service of Mrs. Erla Harewood Christopher in the Office of the Commissioner of Police for a period of 1 year with effect from May 15, 2024. So when Rowley trying to run away from what happened with Erla, Rowley is responsible for what is taking place in this country. 2 times the Cabinet has agreed to extend her nomination or her term of service. 2 separate times that they have done that. But let me tell you something. I don't hold no brief for Erla Christopher. I am not here to defend Erla Christopher. I believe she was a failure. I said it on many occasions that she has failed. under Erla watch together with Fitzgerald Hines. You remember they used to rub shoulder with each other, you know. Them was buddies, you know. They started paying press conference together with each other. And now today, the woman get locked up, nobody want to see she. But that is a clear example of the PNM. The PNM it always has snake in the valleys. What you expect a snake to do? Come and pat you on your head? It will bite you. And today we are warning public servants, do not do the dirty work of the PNM. Do not do the dirty work of the PNM. You will end up just like Erla. Do not do the dirty work of the PNM. But this raises a very critical point here. The Police Service Commission, which is in charge of nominating, selecting, sending the names to the Parliament of the Commissioner of Police, is the only constitutional authority which can discipline a Commissioner of Police, suspend or terminate a Commissioner of Police, according to the Constitution. We now have a letter which was only revealed to us about 4 days after this entire debacle. A letter dated the 31st of January 2025 from the Police Service Commission to Mrs. Erla Harewood Christopher. And the letter reads, arrest and investigation into misbehavior in public office. And the Police Service Commission is indicating that it is in receipt of communication dated the 30th of January 2025 from Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigation. All you know who is that? That is Suzette Martin, stating that on the 30th of January 2025, you were cautioned, informed that you are a suspect in an ongoing investigation into misbehavior in public office, and were then informed that you were under arrest. The letter goes on to say, you must cease to report for duty and cease to discharge the duties of the Office of Commissioner of Police with immediate effect until further notice. Letter dated 31st of January 2025. I think Erla was still in police custody at this point in time. So I don't know if they handed this letter in the police cell. But this letter is critical because according to industrial law and industrial good practice relations, this letter neither said Erla has been suspended. It neither said that she was terminated. It did not say that you should proceed on administrative leave. It didn't buy out her contract. So is there a vacancy in the Office of the Commissioner of Police? This was an opportune moment, a golden moment to get rid of Erla, and I feel they screw it up. I feel they mess it up. Because in this letter, it doesn't tell Erla she's suspended. It doesn't tell her she's terminated. It does not tell her stay home because you are on administrative leave or you buy out the contract. So now we beg the question, is there really a vacancy in the Office of the Commissioner of Police? And we as parliamentarians are summoned to go to the Parliament tomorrow to debate the nomination of DCP Benjamin to become the Commissioner of Police. So is the Parliament engaged in an exercise that may in fact be unconstitutional? Again, PNM governance style. This is a very critical and important matter. Again, I say I hold no brief for Erla Harewood Christopher. That is not my responsibility. As I said before, I believe she was a failure. And then you see something strange. The last time I saw a press conference with people stand up in the back of somebody reading a letter on a desk was Abu Bakr, you know. When I saw that press conference with Suzette Martin at the police admin building, it seems as though they have overthrown the TTPS. It was akin to a coup. And today, that is all the machinations of the PNM now rolling out in front of our eyes. We must be careful. They have collapsed the TTPS. They have collapsed the SSA. They have Hines leading the Ministry of National Security. That is why we are in this position today. But I also want to raise another critical point with you because you have to be educated and understand the implications of what is taking place. There's another very important point. If according to the Police Service Commission in this letter, Erla Harewood Christopher is not the Commissioner of Police, that there are no Commissioner of Police since the 31st of January 2025, then who is regulating? Who is doing the business of the Office of Commissioner under a state of emergency? Who is doing that? And I brought with me the emergency powers regulations. This is the one that gives the law enforcement, the police service, the powers under SOE. This is what the commissioner of police, not the deputy commissioner, not the assistant commissioner, is allowed to do under the law. The commissioner of police is hereby authorized to exercise the following powers: prohibit or restrict the possession or use by any person of any body or person or specified articles. Impose restrictions in respect to their place of business or place of residence. That simply means putting somebody under house arrest. To prohibit persons from being outdoors at specific times. To notify persons of their movements. Who is doing this business if there is no commissioner of police? This is the second time that the PNM has acted in such a manner that we are left without a commissioner of police. When we had the SOE, the state of emergency for COVID, we never had a commissioner of police then. We are under our next SOE and we don't have a commissioner of police again. Who is doing the business of the police? This is a very critical time where certain human rights are suspended under the Constitution. We have to ensure that when law enforcement go out there, they have something called intelligence. You know who they sign off on the warrant to do interception? The Commissioner of Police. So you are telling me under a state of emergency for the last 5 days, if a gangster decided to go and shoot up Port of Spain and they had that intelligence, we had no Commissioner of Police to put him under house arrest. And that is a critical point that we have to make with respect to this entire scandal, debacle that the PNM has placed us in. Just remember, it is the PNM who selected this Police Service Commission. It is the PNM who selected Erla Christopher. It is the PNM who appointed Suzette Martin. It is Rowley, Stuart Young, Al Rawi, and all of them who have done this. And that is why we must get rid of all of them. We must get rid of all of them. And then there's another matter. Rowley is telling us, look, we are now being told, because this thing is like a jigsaw puzzle, you have to put the pieces together. Last year, Rowley telling the parliament that the SSA is bringing in sniper rifle and that there was a plan to destabilize the government of Trinidad and Tobago. There was a coup being planned by the SSA and he called names in the parliament. Today, we have now learned that it is alleged that it's the Commissioner of Police who may have authorized the importation of these weapons. Could you imagine if that happened under Kamla Prasad Visesa government? Would have burned down Tong? Tong would have been on fire. Today, Rowley playing golf on the golf course. Stuart Young getting cussed up in Grandia, see pushing steel band in the savannah. And we must take that. We are calling on them to call the elections now. They have to get out of office. They have to get out of office. They are playing Russian roulette with your lives, with your children's life. You think them business about whether or not bandit in your house? They have security 24/7 paid for by the state. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. It is time we get them out of office. My brothers and sisters, you have to mobilize this country. We cannot take another 5 years of this government. I hear people say if the PNM win, they want to leave Trinidad and Tobago. I think Trump have a different position. But today, my brothers and sisters, we have to mobilize. We have to mobilize. And I am calling on you people of Fyzabad to be vigilant in the next election. Because what I am about to tell you is a very important matter that came to my attention this week. The political leader of the UNC has called for election observers, both international and regional observers. You all remember that? And Rowley said he have the letter by his desk. Apparently he signed the letter and he sent it to CARICOM. So CARICOM now will be the body who will send election observers to Trinidad to ensure that the elections are being conducted in a fair manner. It has been brought to my attention, and I cast no aspersion on any person. Do you know who is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM? None other than the wife of the Attorney General, Reginald Amo, Senior Counsel. So CARICOM, and I cast no aspersions on CARICOM, I cast no aspersions on the goodly Mrs. Solomon or the Attorney General. But there must be an appearance of fairness. There must never be an appearance of bias in these matters. So if Mrs. Solomon, the wife of the Attorney General, sits in the CARICOM Secretariat as the Assistant Secretary General, how do you expect us to feel about the observers that comes here? And I cast no aspersions on the fairness of the observers. But that is a matter I believe should be raised in the national interest. That is a very important matter. So my brothers and sisters, if we vote resoundingly and we come out in our numbers, they could try how hard they cannot thief this election from us, because the will of the people is the will of God. And when the people speak, that is the voice of God. So I ask you all, in San Fernando West, in Arang West, St. Joseph, in Barataria, Sawa, Toko, Sangre Grande, La Joqueta, Talparo, Moruga, Tableland, all of the marginal seats, together with all of the other constituencies of Trinidad and Tobago. Rise up, Trinidad and Tobago. Let us get rid of this Keith Christopher Rowley administration. Get rid of Stuart Young. Get rid of Faris Al-Rawi. And let us install Kamla Persad-Bissessar as our next Prime Minister, together with a UNC government. I thank you very much, Fyzabad, for your love.